Yeah, right guys, just wanted to talk a bit at the start of today's video about how I had the best trading week, how I achieved it, why I did, and the steps that I'm taking to make sure that happens again. And yeah, just basically go over a few general reasons, do something a bit different, a bit of a face-to-face camera rather than just being behind a screen. So what it means to have the best trading week for me is looking in terms of profit this week. The profit that I made wasn't massive amounts in terms of, life-changing money. I did make around £100, which was 10% of my account. But the reason why I'm alluding to making it such a big thing is because no matter if you make 9% or 10% on a £500 account, it's just the same as making it on a £1,000 account or a £10,000 account. The only difference is the capital that you have. So it's a big milestone for me personally to know that when it does come to time when I do have that available capital, that I can do it on a big account. The psychology will be there, the trade setups are there, my analysis is there, and also my execution is there. So it's a big milestone confidence booster for me in my trading journey. Probably one of the most important ones yet. And then the reason why the week occurred from a trading standpoint, I'll move on to various reasons afterwards. But purely from a trading standpoint, it's just because when the analysis was met, when my criteria is met, I just faultlessly executed. Usually psychology is a big thing, especially in trading. It's a big thing in most things. Anything that you want to be good at, your psychology has to be spot on. And as most people will tell you, psychology is a big part, is the majority part of most things, and the reason why you're successful in it. So when I set trade alerts, when I do my analysis on a Sunday, so when price hit my trade alerts, when I saw the relevant criteria, I got in without hesitation, which is the biggest thing for me, which I don't usually do. Sometimes I put in a bit too much emotion, think about it too much. And a big point in the week was Wednesday, when I'd already hit about the 75 pound mark. So that was already getting on to be my best trading week so far. So it was also how I carried it on Thursday and Friday, because it's very easy to just throw that back to the market, as I did take a loss on Wednesday, just a 1% loss. But that trade I then re-entered, which I will feature in the trade setup recap after this, on pound CAD. And I got back in after it stopped me out because it just went to a higher value area of interest, and it ended up being a very good return on that trade. So it's just that thing of faultlessly executing in anything you do, not just trading. You've got to faultlessly execute in order to be good at what you do. And then I think another reason why I've been consistent this week and consistent last week as well, last week was quite a good week, is just because since I come to university, I've not really been structured in the gym. And I know that might sound silly, like, oh, how can that correspond to trading? Yeah, so you could be thinking, why does that have any effect on trading? And the big thing for me is when I go to the gym, I compete in powerlifting. So I do competitions, and I'm used to being structured within that, and I prefer structure. I like knowing what I'm doing. I like a goal to have. As you hear most people say, you need to have a goal in order to get somewhere, otherwise you're just aimlessly going about your day. So within the past 2 weeks, I've started on a structured program again in the gym. So I've still been going to the gym every day, but I haven't had a set program to do when I've been going in. So now I've sorted that out. I'm planning to compete in April next year, April or May, I can't remember quite when the time is. And it's not a coincidence that has coincided with this increase in effectiveness in my trading. So for me, that is something that I'm going to persist with, make sure I'm on track with my training, and everything else falls into play. I've noticed revision for uni work, for exams, has been a lot better. Making time for everything else, including family, seeing mates, and then also obviously trading. So that is probably the predominant reason why I've had this really good week, and that is something that I'm hoping to continue within the next few weeks or so. So we will move into the actual chart analysis now. So I just wanted to try something different today, a bit of face-to-face. If it's something that people find more appealing to watch, find it better, more engaging, just let me know, and I'll put more of these into the video rather than the charts. Or if you just want to see an equal mix, let me know. But for now, we'll go into the trades. So back to behind the screen now rather than having my face up on camera. Just thought I'd try something new as an introduction to the video, mix it up a bit. So I'm just going to jump into the trades that I took for this week. Starting off with the one that I actually took on Friday last week, on the 29th. I'm pretty sure the 29th was the Friday. So this is USD yen. As you can see, we're coming to the top of structure. This was a trade that the idea was first given to me from Max Baker. I don't know if you've seen him on social, called The Social Trader. Puts out brilliant content, good mate. So he just made me aware of the idea of USD yen, as he did with most people. And this is a pair that I got in quite a few times this week. It's because it was just a good setup overall, higher time frame setup. As you can see, price is being squeezed. We've got this monthly level here that price hasn't been above for quite a while, and when it does, it tends to then act as support or resistance, so it's a good support and resistance band. And price is in this wedge moving up, and in the past day or so, before I took the trade, Wednesday and Thursday, you can see this corrective price slowing down. And if you move down to lower time frames, you can see the bullish buyers are slowly running out of steam. See with these candles here, we've had a bit of a bullish push a bit higher, and it looked like looking for another touch of this structure, of this wedge. So I'll just play this forward. So when it got into around this area here, 109.58 was where my alert was set for this pair. So what I'm looking for here is just a clear sign of rejection of these levels. So a bearish candle or various slowdowns, various doji and wicks to the upside, as you can see here, you've got them here. But I just wanted a clear signal as we are still in a bullish structure. And as you can see there, price was running out of steam here, and then around 2 o'clock we had this nice bearish engulfing. So I got in just before this hour closed at 109.58, and I had my stop loss at 109, I believe, as if it would have gone up to this and tested the monthly level of 110, would have just got in again. But as you can see, it cleared these highs as we had this kind of form of double top here in the bearish engulfing. With the higher time frame structure that I've already pointed out, it was a clear as day trade to take. So I'm just going to zoom out onto the 4 hour. And as you can see, we broke out on this wedge, and I'm just going to play this trade now, and so you can see how it's played out. So as you can see, we move back up, we're in a loss for a bit, and then straight look at, there you go, right there, 2nd of December, just before US Open, we dropped and we were around 1.85% in profit. So on the account that I'm on, that's around £18, which for the start of the week was a nice trade considering this was already running. I was also in your USD, which I'll move on to after this pair. But as you can see, we started to have a bit of a retracement there. Still stayed in. And this was a chance for a scaling on the 3rd. As you can see here, we just had a nice little retracement. It's a good job I was up early. I got in around here, 7 AM. So price retraced into a good level of interest. It went back into the 4 hour 50 EMA as it's broke through it, retraced back into it, and I was just looking for any rejection just because the strong impulsive nature of this candle. I was only expecting a small minor pullback for it to get a scaling. So as you can see, took another position there. So just add another position. At this point, I'd already taken, when it got down to here on this ascending trend line here, due to the nature of the candle, I did take half my profit off of the first trade and left this one to run. I did just have the stop loss here at 30 pips and was targeting the same as this. So on this one, I only risked I usually risk £10 a trade, but now I'm risking £5 a trade. So 2.16%, it's up another £10, which was good. So I will slowly carry on and play this, see how price action develops. As you can see, we stalled here quite a lot. So what I did is I did actually remove this full position when it got into the next morning. I took off a bit here on the 3rd, 4th, on the 3rd, sorry, and then in the morning I could see price action was still not had much steam in it, and then we did see this bullish engulfing on the 1 hour. So we'll just keep on going, see how it's moving. And as you can see again, price was very corrective, and we did see another move towards the downside on Friday. So this was a chance again. As I said, I took my full position off on this on the scaling, still in my a quarter of my full position. Again, you saw this nice little retracement. If we go down to the 1 hour, we'll just get rid of that for now, and then stick a fib on. Price is interactive with the 71 fib perfectly, and this was on the 5th. So again, another clean entry. Short position there. Stop just above the high, and was targeting the minus 27% again. First time using a fib. You did see it bounce back up just before the NFP news. So just because I knew it was just before the NFP news, I did take a partial amount of the position off. Took half off and then moved the stop loss to entry just in case NFP did go my way, and then sunk this a bit further. And then we did finish Friday on 108.58. So around 100 pips in the move overall, but with several scale-ins, there was good profit made on this trade overall. I believe it was around 3% made on this, 2.5–3% made on this pair alone. So this was a trade, a pair that I've got into numerous times of the week. It's something that I've got into more now, whereas I used to just get original entries and leave it at that. So move on to the next pair for the week. So now I'm going to move on to your USD. This is a pair that's looked quite clean for the past week or so. So I did take a long position on this on the 14th of November. As you can see, we broke out of this wedge pattern, came up, stalled at this support and resistance zone, and came back down to retest the 61.88% fib level. And I did miss the first rejection on this. As you can see, price action stalled perfectly. Various wicks to the downside, not much seller pressure at all. However, I did miss the first little impulse off of it. So I was just waiting for another retest, another clear rejection of this level. As you can see, price action was very corrective, and we did get another retest of this zone. So the confluences for this trade were the 61.8, this support and resistance band that is shown by this box here, and then also the key psychological level of 1.100. And we're getting clear confirmation here, slow down in price, various wicks to the downside, and we got a good rejection on the 1 hour, which we did get in, and then price impulsively moved to the upside. And as you can see, price was being capped by the 4 hour 50 EMA, struggled to break through it. However, we did see a sell-off of the DXY, which led to this impulsive nature, and then it stalled for the next few hours. So what I did do at this point, because I saw this was where it was almost an identical trade from the week before, so this wedge kind of pattern, and it's broken out of it. Again, you can see there, it's broken out of it. It's almost an exact replica of this trade. We just move that up to there. It's almost an exact replica. So when price stalled at this level, I did remove some profit just in case it did fall back down like it did previously. And this pair was stalling quite a lot throughout the week until we had NFP, until we had Euro get a bit of strength on again, and then drop back down, and NFP has made it go back down lower, which is an area of interest for this coming week, as there could be a potential buy setup on this pair again. So I did take the full amount of my pair off. I took off half here when it first reached this level and we saw this stalling, and then I also got out around here as well, about 100. So again, 2.31%, you can't complain at that. And if this pair will feature on my weekly watch list also, so look out for that. So on those two pairs with USD yen and your USD, we saw nice clean moves throughout the week, and they were the mainstay for the reason why I had this really good week. Took profit at various different levels, had scale-ins. There were potential scaling opportunities on this pair, however, I was already scaled in on USD yen, so I didn't want to expose my account on one currency of the US dollar. So we'll now move on to pound CAD. So here with pound CAD, here's another higher time frame structure trade similar to USD yen. You can see price. This pair did also feature on my weekly watch list, where I noticed that price was retracing in both pound CAD and pound yen into the 78.6 fib on the daily time frame. As you can see, we are technically in a bullish structure, but with higher time frame confirmation, we've got this support and resistance band. As you can see, price was last above that around the 16th of May, and it held it for quite a long time, for a few months. And you could see price was slowly creeping up. There wasn't much decision within the market, and this was a higher risk trade to take. And there you go. It has technically made a higher high. However, we are in this support and resistance band. So the confidences were there. It was worth the risk, hence why I took the trade. And as you can see here, we've got this bearish engulfing on the 1 hour. So the trade was taken there. $8.3, and then stop loss, maybe could have said was a bit too tight. Taken there, and we're targeting the lows, as there was very good potential, very good downside potential on this trade. So I will show you how this trade played out. So I did, like I said, get stopped out, which was unfortunate. However, when I mentioned about the mentality side of things, when it did meet my criteria, I did get back in, and then I'm just going to play this trade out. So there you go, you can see we were stopped out there. The pound suddenly got some bullish strength. However, you've got to look at the positives. It did go up to the 71% fib level, and also the psychological level of 1.7400. It's just pushing higher into the structure, and as you can see there on the daily, it closed as a large wick to the upside. So got taken out for a 1% loss there. So just move on to get a re-entry. And then when I saw it retraced up to this 71% fib level and the 7400 level, it just became an even higher area of interest. And we had this shooting star rejection on the 1 hour on pound CAD. So it was a very risky trade indeed, as there wasn't much room for stop loss. However, just because price hadn't been above this level since 14th of May, I just put it around, I think it was 25 pips above this, just to give it a bit of room, just in case it popped up. As I said, I wouldn't usually advise taking a trade this risky, but with the higher time frame confirmation, you could suggest that it wasn't too risky. So I will just play out this trade again. So bearing in mind we've already been stopped out for 1%, got back in, and price was stalling around the 1 hour 50 EMA. Did have a little bit of retracement, but you can see it's not pushing much higher. Just waiting for that conviction for it to go lower. And I did take off some profit at this level. And then if I just pause it there was the opportunity for a scaling. So when I saw the impulsive nature on this, but it was still stopped dead by the 1 hour 50 EMA, I did take off some profit, and obviously stop loss had been moved to entry. However, there was then the option for a scaling on this trade. So the reasons behind taking this scaling were the formation of this head and shoulders pattern. I did put on a post that alluded to this. So what the head and shoulders pattern is a reversal pattern. And as you can see here, we've got the left shoulder, you've got the head, and then we also have the right shoulder. So this combined with the 78.6 fib, the rejection off that, and then also retracing into the 0.5% fib and having another shooting star, this was good enough reason for me to take this trade. I did get a wick entry on this pair. So I did take an entry there, stop around 30 pips, and then we did see a slight move to the downside. However, it did pop back up, but as we were over 1%, I did move my stop loss to break even. So that was fortunate, and that is why you do have rules to play into, as this pair did continue to push higher, and then it did drop again. Stalled again at the 61.8, And then towards on Friday morning, we did see another bit of bearish potential. As you can see there, move back in. And then with NFP and CAD employment data, it shot back up for a double top, made new higher high, and then rejected a higher level. So that is how you can take a higher time frame trade. As you can see, it is risky as we are still in a bullish structure, and the bullish price action here, I would not be taking a short on this for the foreseeable future. I would need extra confluences. So the final pair for this week that got me to my best ever trading week was Euro Aussie. Again, another pair that was mentioned in my market watch list. I did mention various entries on this pair, how you could get in on another touch of this structure of the 71.8 and this corrective structure here. However, this did happen early in the morning and I did miss it. I was waiting for the more conservative entry of a break and retest of this dynamic support, which did turn into resistance. As you can see, we had a very impulsive move to the downside and we did see this breakthrough. So all I was waiting for here was just a retest of this structure, which we did fortunately get, as predicted. So we're just moving on the 1 hour. Interacted. We had various confluences on this trade. Put on the 61.8, one of the favourite fib levels. So as you can see, price has broken out of this support, retested it cleanly into the 61.8% fib, and you've also got the 4 hour 50 EMA here and the 1 hour. Price was in there around 30 pips, stop loss. Did get slight higher entry. Oh shit, no, never mind. The first Euro Aussie trade for the week. Euro Aussie 6214. Went on the 4th. Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, price interacted with the 61.8% fib, and we're just waiting for a... When the fuck did I get in? Oh fuck. So as you can see, price did retest the support that was mentioned that was turned into resistance. However, we did see a further retracement into around 62.50, and then once we got this 4 hour close for the 50 EMA, got in on an entry after this retracement to it around 62.14. Then we'll just play this trade out. Show how it goes. There you go. So you can see price stalled installed here, and then also because there was Aussie employment figures, I'm pretty sure, out within the next morning. I did take profit around 61.65. I took 3/4 of my position off and moved a stop loss to entry, and as you can see, overnight it did take us out, which was unfortunate. However, though, this is what I'm saying, where there's only 4 trades taken for the week. 4 trades taken this week and 9 to 10% banked. So yeah, that's the end of the market recap. That Euro Aussie trade was featured on my market watch list from last week. It was also taken, I was having a good discussion with a friend of mine, Ollie, the travel trader, and he took the trade also. Excellent trader, guy who taught me how to trade, so if you're interested in trading content also, please do check him out. And I thought this would be a great time to reveal a rebranding of my page almost, just because I want to take my trading content to the next level, as you guys have seen over the past few weeks with me posting a lot more educational content, and my journey really has trade. I want to share it and document it, so I just thought it'd be a good way to put it in. Create this graphic here, Matthew Archer, as you'll see, Matthew the Archer, and I will be putting out Instagram posts explaining the reasons why I've featured this kind of design, not just because it is my last name, but what it symbolises and what this saying, these 3 words, mean in the bottom corner in relation to what I'm trying to achieve. So thanks very much for watching today's video.